All right, good afternoon. This is the Fantasy Sports Boss with Fantasy Football Live, last minute pregame show to go over some start sit questions. I've been getting a ton of start sit questions this morning, so I figured let me just jump on and do a quick stream. We could also go over the injury report, the weather, which I talked about today. There's quite a bit of rain and wind up and down the East Coast that are affecting some of these games today, and whatever else you want to talk about leading up to the 1 o'clock games. So before I go any further, make sure you hit the subscribe, hit the notification button, and also bop that like button for me. That would really be good. So that way we get indexed higher in YouTube going forward in terms of visibility and whatnot. So, certainly here it's a very crucial juncture in the fantasy football season. Week 12. I know I'm feeling the heat in one league that I'm 7-4, and I really do need to win today in this one particular league. Luckily, I'm 9-2 in the other. Looks like I'm going to be 10-2 after this week. So in the league, I'm 7-4, and I really do need to win today. And I'm off to a decent, not great start. Tony Pollard only got me 8 points. CeeDee Lamb got me 17. Dalton Schultz got me 19. So, I lived and died with Dallas in that Thanksgiving Day game. So, I do need to do a little bit more work today. But, I one of the keys actually in that matchup that I have in that 7-4 league is Josh Jacobs is on my opponent's team. And it looks like Josh Jacobs is going to play. So that's one of the big storylines already today. Adam Schefter of ESPN reports that Jacobs will play. He is going to test the calf in pregame. Of course, he popped up on the injury report on Friday, which is not ideal whenever a player pops up on the injury report. Hi, Tony. How you doing, brother? Whenever a player pops up on the injury report late, it's usually not a good thing, but it looks like Jacobs is going to be able to give it a go. Remember, guys, if you're just jumping in, make sure you hit the subscribe and the notification button. I will do a wrap-up live stream tonight at 7:30, so make sure you tune in for that so we can share our horror stories or we can bask in our glory for winning or losing today, depending on how things go. Michael Carter, Treylon Burks, and Flex, thanks. I'm going to have to go Burks because I think Tennessee's going to have to throw more than they are used to because Cincinnati, certainly with their passing offense, are going to keep them on their toes. And Treylon Burks is coming off his best game as a pro, and I really like the way he's playing right now. Boss start 2 wide receivers, standard Evans, Olave, Watson, or Palmer. Definitely starting Palmer because no Mike Williams. Whenever Allen or Williams are out, Palmer usually does quite well. So I'm going to go with him. And I'm going to go with Mike Evans. I think Mike Evans is going to have a decent day today. I do like Olave as well. I'm not so high on Christian Watson just because I think that his touchdown percentage is totally unsustainable. Higbee or Kmet. I'm still going with Kmet. I want no part of this Rams offense. I don't care who's starting at quarterback. It's a sunken ship with the Rams right now. It really is. So I'm going to go with Cole Kmet. Darnell Mooney is going to be tied up by Sauce Gardner. So Trevor Siemian is going to have to throw short dump-off passes to Cole Kmet. Kmet's going to be, I think, going to be targeted pretty heavily in this game because, again, Mooney's going to be tied up by Sauce Gardner. And I'm in New York right now, and it is starting to rain. Wind is calm, so this Jets game against the Bears is going to have quite a bit of rain in the forecast, and the passing game may not be as productive as it would be. But then again, we have 2 backup quarterbacks in this game. So, we can't really go too crazy either way there offensively. But Michael Carter, I'm not really loving him today. Let's see. Time to start week 12 off strong. Yes, definitely need to start off strong. Start 2, McLaurin, Pittman, Jeff Wilson, full PPR. I'm starting Jeff Wilson. He has a great matchup against Houston today. No Raheem Mostert, so I'm all in on Jeff Wilson. And I'm going to have to say McLaurin, just because I still don't totally trust, and the Redskins, the Commanders are really on a roll right now. So we know Heineke does target McLaurin heavily. I'm still not, even though Michael Pittman's been better since Matt Ryan's got back under center, I'm not really totally sold on him yet. Pierce, Gus, Burks, or Sutton PPR. I'm not going to go Gus because I think that Kenyon Drake is going to get quite a bit of carries. It's between Pierce and Burks. I might say Burks just because, again, he played well last week, and Mike Vrabel's not stupid. He's one of the best coaches in the NFL, so something worked for him last week that helped unlock the passing offense in a very impressive showing for Tennessee last week against Green Bay. I think they're going to go back to it. So I do like Burks quite a bit this week. Do you think Deshaun Watson will be solid when he comes back next week? I think it might take him a week to try to knock off the rust. Let's face it, he hasn't played in basically 2 years. So I am optimistic on Watson rest of season, but I think next week he needs to just work off some rust before I throw him out there. But certainly by week 14, I'm totally in on him. Have you ever been nervous about a player's fantasy projection? Oh, certainly. I'm nervous today about Rachaad White because I'm all in on Rachaad White. I've told all of you about Rachaad White. Oftentimes when we overhype somebody, they don't come through. He's got a great matchup against Cleveland. I shared that stat about how the Browns have given up 2 rushing touchdowns or more, and I think like 3 of their last 5 games. So the matchup is there. He's going to get targets. He was a supreme receiver in college, so I am nervous about that one a little bit for sure. And I was nervous about Taysom Hill earlier in the season, and ultimately that it hasn't totally worked out, although he's had some smash weeks. I actually think he's a good play this week, but yeah, those 2 guys stand out to me. Start 1 QB, Ryan Pickett, Tanny, or Heineke. Wow. Wow. Talk about mediocre options. I don't, I'm not going Pickett. I guess it's a coin flip between, you see, Heineke runs. That's the one thing that I do like about him. I think Tannehill is a solid play. I'm going to go with Tannehill because I just think there's going to be a lot of passing in that game. Christian Watson or P. Ryan, I'm going Watson. Michael Carter should smash for James Robinson now with healthy scratch. He should, and certainly with the weather, they're going to be running the football a lot. So I think Michael Carter, smash might be a little strong, but I think he's going to be good. Jacoby Brissett or Mike White as my super flex. I gotta go Brissett just because he's got more mobility. That's the only reason there. So reason why I would go there. So Raheem Mostert, inactive as we expected. And it just really goes to show you how good that trade for Jeff Wilson was for Miami, because certainly with Mostert's history of injuries and knee issues, we're starting to see now perhaps all of that heavy usage earlier in the season is now starting to show up physically with poor health for Mostert. And listen, this is a really good spot for Jeff Wilson. I'm firing him up wherever I could because I think he's going to be tremendous today. So we already know Justin Fields. When Nathan Peterman was promoted from the practice squad yesterday, the writing was on the wall. Justin Fields was not going to play today. I think it's the right call. He's the future. This is a hard-hitting Jets defense that's been sacking quarterbacks left and right. There's no reason to expose him to injury. The weather's not going to be great. It was the right call. The season's not going anywhere for Chicago. While you want to get him as much work as you can, talking about Fields, it's not the right spot for him. So it certainly changes the dimensions of the offense. I think David Montgomery is going to run the ball a ton. He might even get 30 carries today. I do, and I think next week Fields certainly will have more, should be good to go with his health there. So Jerry Jeudy misses another week. KJ Hamler misses another week. So, this Broncos offense is a mess. Logan Thomas is active for Washington. If that does anything for you, he really hasn't been great this season. Gus Edwards, Duvernay, and Demarcus Robinson all healthy for the Ravens. So this is a really crucial game for me against, I have Lamar Jackson going in both of my leagues. I'm really hoping that going against a forgiving Jacksonville defense will get Lamar Jackson back on track here. He's got Robinson, he's got Duvernay, he's got Mark Andrews, he's got Kenyon Drake and Gus Edwards at running back. There's no reason that Jackson should not have a 20+ fantasy football outing. 20+ fantasy points. I think he can get there. He should get there. I know there's rain in the forecast in that game as well and some wind. But let's just hope things work out today for Lamar Jackson. I certainly need it, as I have Justin Fields also not playing. So Jamar Chase misses another week. This is a big game against Tennessee. So if Chase is not ready against, in such a big game against the Titans, he's certainly still not feeling 100%. And that is just a little bit of a red flag for me. I'm not sure that, I think he's going to go next week, but the fact that he's still not ready. And listen, a hip injury is a big deal for any player. And, I think when Chase first got injured, there was the thought that maybe he was going to miss the rest of the season. So even when he does come back, I'm not ready to say he's going to be that smash wide receiver 1 again, right off the bat, at least. But he should. And I use the term lightly saying should, but because we thought he was going to be back this week, he should be back next week. T. Higgins, in line for another big game. And, one of the bigger disappointments has been Tyler Boyd. Tyler Boyd hasn't really, sorry for moving the laptop so much. Tyler Boyd hasn't really been that good, which I thought he would be. Tyler Boyd's got ability. He's shown in the past that he can contribute in fantasy football. He was a top 25 PPR guy before Jamar Chase came to town. So certainly disappointing on that front for him. Leonard Fournette is inactive. So the Rachaad White Hype train gets going today. This is a big game for White because if he can rush for 100 yards today, I think he's really going to put the hammer down on his starting running back job. I think that certainly Leonard Fournette has had his moments this season. He's scoring touchdowns. He's catching the ball out of the backfield. He had a big week one where he ran for over 100 yards, but he looks a step slow. Maybe all that extreme workload that he got last season is starting to show up and hurting him negatively. That is possible. I don't like the way Fournette is playing right now. And so this is a perfect opportunity for Rachaad White to literally run with the job. Now, Cleveland is a good matchup. They're stronger in the secondary than they are on the defensive line. So White should have some room to run. And, I think, certainly the opportunity, like I said, is there for him to make hay. And this is why we hold on to Rachaad White all season. Myself, I have Leonard Fournette in both of my leagues. And I held on to Rachaad White in both of those leagues with this thought in mind. And perhaps, I was guilty of overhyping Leonard Fournette. I think next season, prior to next season, when it comes to the drafts, we really got to look at a couple of things. One, a running back that is a little bit older. When I say older, let's say 26 and older, that is coming off a major workload campaign. And because we're, with Fournette especially, he looks a step slow, doesn't look as explosive or fast. So maybe when a player gets older, 26 and older, and they're coming off such a major touch campaign, that it's going to show up with decreased, production the following season. And then the other thing, and I've talked about this numerous times, and I call this the Kyle Pitts rule, is that we can't draft receivers that have questionable quarterbacks. And even next year, Pitts will have probably Desmond Ridder, who I don't love, and I did not love as a prospect coming out of the draft. He had very shaky accuracy while he was a Bearcat in Cincinnati. Certainly the mobility is impressive. He can run, he can move. He's basically Marcus Mariota 2.0, a much younger Marcus Mariota. So I don't think Kyle Pitts or even Drake London is somebody that I'm really going to target next season in drafts. So those are two commandments that I think I'm going to have to follow next summer in drafts. And then, of course, the other one is the running quarterback. I want the running quarterback. I want a Jalen Hurts. I want Josh Allen. I want Justin Fields. I want Pat Mahomes. Mahomes, he runs enough to be considered a running quarterback. Lamar Jackson, even though he's struggled somewhat this season, he could even have a new home next year. I want one of those guys next season. I don't, we saw this year with Tom Brady, Matthew Stafford, those Aaron Rodgers, the veteran non-mobile quarterbacks shit the bed. And they really put a major hurting on their fantasy owners this season. You're probably thinking, oh, I could get Brady cheap. I could get Stafford cheap. I could get, Aaron Rodgers cheap. Let me fill out the rest of my roster with supreme wideouts and running backs. Well, it didn't work out that way. So I think third or fourth round next year, I'm going to get one of those mobile quarterbacks. I know you have no crystal ball, but what are your expectations for Michael Carter and Treylon Burks today? I think Carter's going to get 15 carries at least, maybe 20. He's a little slight, so asking him to be a workhorse, it might be a little bit too much. Mike White does target running backs heavily. So in PPR leagues, Michael Carter, I think, is going to have a decent day. I think he's going to catch at least 4 passes, and I think he could be in that 60 to 70 rushing yardage game. So that's where I have him, 60 to 70 rushing yards, 4 to 5 receptions out of the backfield. Treylon Burks, probably like somewhere along the lines of 5 catches for 75 yards. I can see that. Not sure if he scores or not, but he's got the ability. He's got the talent. It took him a little while to learn the offense and to feel comfortable and to also put some ill health behind him. And Njoku or Foster Moreau, that's a tough one. I think Njoku is going to be fine. I'm not a big Foster Moreau guy. I know he's had his moments, but I'm going to go Njoku just because Jacoby Brissett, we all know, has a long history of targeting his tight ends. So that's why I'm going to go with him. So wow, up to 1,085 subscribers. Thank you guys. Awesome news there. Moving in on 1,100. Can't wait to get to 2,000 and so on and so forth. Latavius Murray or Michael Carter, PPR. I'm going to go Michael Carter for all the reasons I just said. The Broncos offense is a mess. Michael Carter, I think, is in line for 60 to 70 rushing yards. Like I said, I think he'll catch 4 to 5 passes out of the backfield. Mike White is going to be the key. I'm going to watch this game closely. I'm a Giants fan. I'm not a Jets fan, so I can watch this objectively. I think Mike White will hook up with Elijah Moore a lot. I think he'll hook up with Michael Carter a lot. Not so sure about Garrett Wilson. I wouldn't start Garrett Wilson because we don't know if there's any rapport there. We do know, based on history, that Elijah Moore does have a good rapport with Mike White. Are the Bills in trouble without Von Miller? No, I don't think so. The offense is so good. Yes, that's a big piece lost for sure. But when you have all these, Stephon Diggs, Josh Allen, you have one of the best offenses in football. I think that will help them. I wouldn't say they're in trouble. I do think the Chiefs are the team coming out. I've said Chiefs 49ers. That's my Super Bowl pick. I'm going to live and die with that one. Do I start Kyren Williams today? If you're desperate, only start him. We still don't know if Cam Akers is going to be the bell cow back. I know there's no reason for Sean McVay not to, quote unquote, unleash Kyren Williams. This is the perfect opportunity. This season is completely lost. They've been looking for a competent running back all season. It has not worked. Kyren Williams can catch the football. I really liked him coming out of college out of Notre Dame because he caught 1 million balls in college. That is a big part of the NFL offenses this year. So there's no reason not to try that. Great person and channel. Oh, thank you, Ed. I appreciate that. Pray your channel's on the upside. Have an amazing Sunday. Thank you, Ed. I appreciate that. And the channel is on the upside. I started this over the summer, and for those who've been in the chat before, the stat I'm about to bring up is that, typically for a new YouTube channel, it takes 12 to 16 months to get your first 1,000 subscribers. We did it in 4 months, a little less than 4 months. So very, very proud of that. The revenue from the channel has been pretty good with the advertising. So, not to go into any figures or whatnot, but generating good revenue through Google. Also, the super chats and the donations to PayPal have been a big help. All the money goes right back into the channel. Production for my draft guides, printing costs, things like that. So I really appreciate the contributions you guys have made with PayPal and super chats and all that other stuff. It's just going to make the channel that much better. So, and again, I really appreciate that. Jeff Wilson or Waddle for flex full PPR. Oh, that's a tough one. I'm going to go Waddle just because he's been so good. I think, the only thing, let me just think about that for a second, because Miami should be in a very positive game script in this one. So they might run Jeff Wilson. You know what? Scratch that. I'm going to go Jeff Wilson because they should be able to jump on Houston quickly in this one, and to the point where they may not have to throw it much in the second half, and they're going to ride Jeff Wilson, and Wilson can catch the football as well. So I would go Jeff Wilson. What's up, boss? Nico Collins, Trayvon Burks, or Elijah Moore? Oh man. Not Collins. I want to see if Kyle Allen has more of a rapport at Brandon Cooks or Nico Collins before I go there. It's between Elijah Moore and Burks. I'm going to go Burks slightly over Moore, just because we don't know how rusty Mike White is. And we saw Burks balled out last week, so I'm going to go with Treylon Burks there. Paris Campbell, Tyler Boyd, Donta Foreman, or Gus Bus. Full point PPR. Wow. Full point PPR. I can't go Foreman or Gus because they don't catch the football. I would say Campbell. I'm not a Campbell fan. Boyd's been so bad though. I can't get behind Boyd. At least Campbell's been putting up numbers. So I would go Campbell, but it's a lukewarm endorsement, KJ. Amari Cooper or David Montgomery in the flex. I'm going to have to go Cooper because I think the Bucs, it's a high passing game. Cooper's been really good. He's quietly having a tremendous season, and he's doing it without Deshaun Watson. Now with Deshaun Watson getting ready to return to the fold, I think it's going to be even more of a impressive performance from Cooper the rest of the season. And I like Cooper coming into the year. If Watson had not gotten suspended, I was prepared to pay the freight to bring in Amari Cooper because Watson loves to lock into his number one wideouts, as he did for years with DeAndre Hopkins in Houston. And I think he's going to do the same thing with Amari Cooper, who again is having a good season already without Watson under center. Debo or Evans PPR with the Cleveland weather. I would go Debo. He had a good game last week. Saints defense has been hit or miss. I think Chris Godwin is really coming on for Tampa. So, and Evans is beat up. I know they're coming off the bye, so that might bring you a rejuvenated Evans. But Debo's still running the football, which is surprising. It's a slight lean to Debo. I think Evans has a good chance to score today. He always has a good chance to score. Although his touchdowns are down sharply. That's a stat that really hasn't been talked about much this year. The fact that his touchdowns are down sharply from their previous norms. Donta Foreman, A.J. Dillon, half point. You got to go Foreman. He's going to get so many more carries than A.J. Dillon, who's really has been a certifiable bust. Wow. So breaking news. I literally just saw this. This came down 5 minutes ago. Nathan Peterman is starting against the Jets, not Trevor Siemian. Holy shit. I didn't see that one coming. Did anybody know about this? So Nathan Peterman, wow, listen to this. I love NBC Sports Edge. This is what they said, their first sentence about Nathan Peterman starting today. May God have mercy on our souls. May God have mercy on our souls is the write-up. Trevor Siemian was going to get the nod in place to Justin Fields, but suffered an oblique injury in warmups. Oh my God. Peterson, with a career completion rate of 52.5% and 2 touchdowns to 12 interceptions, will start against an elite Jets secondary. Oh my God. Whoever I said start Cole Kmet, don't do that now. Somebody in here asked me about Cole Kmet. Do not start Cole Kmet. Do not start Darnell Mooney. Oh my God. So Nathan Peterman, if you have the Jets defense, name your score this week. I mean, oh my, wow. I can't even believe that. Should I trade Curtis Samuel or Kareem Hunt? I don't think you're getting anything for either one of them. I would trade Samuel over Hunt because, again, if Nick Chubb gets hurt, we've seen Hunt have really good production as a starter. Hey, Erwin, how you doing, man? Who do you like for defensive special teams? I have the Panthers against the Broncos. Your thoughts? It could be okay. Broncos haven't done anything. I think Panthers are okay. I mean, anybody has a Jets defense, like I said, Nathan Peterman getting the start. Jets defense going to go crazy, Keenan. You're absolutely right. I saw that too. Jets defense is going to feast. Yeah, the Jets defense is going to name their price. I mean, that's unbelievable. Montgomery with Peterman and Weather or Pacheco. I got to go Pacheco. It's already raining here in New York. The Jets are going to sell out to stop Montgomery, who really is just a man on an island right now in this offense. It's bad. Should I play Monty White or Connor? White, Erwin. Definitely White. Should I start Jets D? Yes. Can't stop the sauce. I like your name. Yes, you got to start the Jets D. And Sauce Gardner, he has been phenomenal. I thought he was the best player in the draft, coming out on the defensive side by a mile, and he's already proven to be a top 5 shutdown corner. All right, so Adam Schefter today says, quote, "It sounds like Odell Beckham will sign with the Cowboys." Remember, last week before Thanksgiving, I posted that video. I know somebody close to Beckham. I'm not going to say who. This goes back to when he was with the Giants. And anybody who doesn't know the story, this particular person reached out, ripping me a new one after I wrote something negative about Beckham on my old website. And then I wound up starting a dialogue with this individual, and I've kept in touch ever since. And I got in contact with him last week, and I said, "Where is he going?" And he said he's going to Dallas. He just wants to give the Mara family the time of day because he respects John Mara. He respects Wellington Mara, who passed, the previous owner. So Beckham is sitting down with the Giants out of respect for the ownership of the team, but he will sign with Dallas unless something. The only caveat he said was, last minute, maybe Buffalo. I know he's going to visit Buffalo, but it sounds like it's going to be the Cowboys, and that's what I had said from the beginning. So, this person that I spoke to, who's close to him, is very, very. Is a good source. Let's just put it that way. And I'm not into the source game. I don't do that. I know a couple of people just from covering the draft and whatnot. I've been on Sirius XM satellite radio multiple times. So you get to know people. This person is really in tune to what Beckham is saying and doing. And so he said right away, he's going to Dallas. Just has to go through the process because he respects the Mara family. Do you have a Twitter? I do, at RotoBoss. So I do. My Twitter handle is at RotoBoss. I really use it now to just post the links to these videos just to get some additional traffic. Twitter's real negative. It's just kind of a cesspool of shit that I really just don't need. And what I will say about this channel, very, very few. I could count on 2 hands the amount of really nasty negative comments I've gotten. Somebody the other day when I talked about Geno Smith in the short that I posted said nobody asked, stupid stuff like that. Very, very, very little trolling, so I find that it's better on YouTube than it is, on Twitter, which is exceedingly nasty. But yeah, it's at RotoBoss, and sometimes I do tweet on that. I do tweet more in the off season when it comes to the NFL draft. Amari Cooper or P. Ryan in the flex. Cooper. Definitely Cooper. You think OBJ is going to eat CD's points? No, he's going to be just like with the Rams last year, Kupp still was the main guy. CD Lamb will still be the main guy. Beckham will be a supporting player. Love the insider info. Yeah, I'm not an insider. Thank you, Keenan. I'm definitely not an insider, but like I said, I know of this person from the time that Beckham was with the Giants, and I'm not going to say how he's related to or close to him, but I've kept in dialogue with this person over the years, and he said he's definitely going to Dallas. So that's what it looks like. And like I said, ironically, it started off with him like ripping me a new one because I had ripped Beckham after the boat excursion prior to the playoff game against Green Bay, when him and the rest of the Giants wideouts just did a stupid thing and wound up costing him the game. Should I drop Everett for Conklin? Already started Schultz. Yeah, Conklin is not. He's not a thing. If Conklin goes nuts, I'm not going to lose sleep over it. You can't. He's just a limited player. Schultz has been good. Listen, I said from the beginning, Dalton Schultz was going to be the guy. Once Dak Prescott came back, he was going to turn right back into the Dalton Schultz that we all wanted this season. And I think, certainly he's showing that now with the 2 touchdowns last week. Nathan Peterman doing good is number one chance, 99%. Listen, he is probably the worst quarterback I've seen in a very long time. There was a guy on Arizona years ago. I don't remember what his name was. He had gotten 1 start, and he was like beyond abysmal, like Zach Wilson abysmal. That guy, I don't remember his name. I can't remember. He started 1 game for Arizona years ago, and it was so comically bad that like you almost had to turn it off. And even like Doug Peterson, he's a great coach. He was a god-awful NFL quarterback. It was just brutal. But Nathan Peterman, yeah, it's going to be nasty. I might not even watch that game now. Start Marquise Brown, DJ Moore, or Burke. I'm starting Marquise Brown, Matt. Brown's going to get a lot of work. They're just going to throw him out there. They need him. The Dortch is not playing. AJ Green is shot. It's no Rondale Moore. They're gonna put him out there. I have Juju, Higgins, DK, Godwin. I need to start 2. Wow, that's a good foursome. How do you even decide between those guys? I'm gonna go Higgins. With Chase out, definitely Higgins. I like Juju a lot. I do like Juju a lot. But Godwin's really hot, and so is DK. Oh, I hate these kind of questions where they're all good. I'm going to go Higgins. I think DK has the best chance to score out of the other 3. So I'm going to go Higgins, DK, only for the touchdown potential. I think you're one of the best channels. Hope you grow by leaps and bounds. Appreciate your help. Oh, thank you, man. I really appreciate that. Jumbo17. I really, really appreciate that. Like I said, I work hard at this. It's not my main job. I'm an educator and a football coach. But maybe one day I could wind up doing this full time. It's a nice supplement to have, certainly. But I do appreciate all the comments. And like I said, once the football is over, I don't want people to think, the channel's going to shut down until the summer. Hell no. I'm still going to be doing features all off season. I'm still going to profile, do season wrap-ups on individual players, profile them, project them going forward. All NFL transactions once this hot stove season starts. I'll be discussing all that. NFL draft stuff. I'm hoping to have people on that I can interview for the NFL draft. All that good stuff. If you love fantasy football, you love the NFL draft. So, that's what I'm going to really start moving into heavily in the offseason. Should I drop Panthers D for Ravens, Steelers, or Colts? Panthers D, Ravens, Steelers, or Colts. I mean, I think they're all 6 1, half dozen the other, Erwin. I think you should just leave it be. Logan Thomas or Juwan Johnson? Definitely Juwan Johnson. He's been very good, quietly good, scoring touchdowns. I like the way he's playing. White over Chubb because of the matchup. Yes, and because he catches the football. If you're in a PPR league, Rachaad White's going to catch the ball. He profiled as a really good pass receiver coming out of college, and I think that he's really set for a decent day today. Let's hope. Listen, tonight at 7:30, if he crashes and burns, that's the first thing I'll talk about, and I'll take the hit for it, 100%. Glad I found your channel, man. Oh, thank you, Raj. I really appreciate that. I'm glad you found the channel too. So, and I'm very, you guys are my boss, and whatever you say goes. And it's funny because I had put something up about anybody wanting me to delve into fantasy baseball, and I think 90% of the people in the poll said, hell no, no fantasy baseball. Keep it fantasy football in the NFL draft, and that's what I'm going to do. So, not fantasy baseball, but just going to keep it all football. Should add Jerick McKinnon. I just added Jerick McKinnon this morning, so I think you should definitely add him. Everett or Njoku. I'm going to go Njoku, DH. Love the channel. You're awesome, dude. Oh, thank you, DH. I really appreciate that. But chat's starting to go a little fast, guys, so if I miss your question, just make sure you post it again or just use the super chat. That way it's highlighted, and I'll be able to see it. It'll be pinned. If you're not talking this week, Ravens could be really good next couple. Yeah, the Ravens defense is getting better. They kind of burned me earlier in the season. Pick 2 PPR, JT, Jeff Wilson, James Conner, then pick leftover plus D. Whoa, all right. Let me slow down the chat here. This is a intense question here. Pick 2, ETN. I like ETN. JT, Jeff Wilson, James Conner, not Conner. Then pick leftover plus Debo for flex. ETN, JT, and Jeff Wilson. Those are the 3. Half PPR league, and I need a win. I think it's crazy to play White over Nick Chubb, but the matchup is too good for. Listen, the matchup is good. I told you the Browns have been surrendering boatloads of yards and touchdowns on the ground. So sometimes you just got to make a tough call and you live and die with it. I mean, there was a number of years ago where I was in the playoffs and I had Ryan Tannehill as my backup and Pat Mahomes, who I rode the whole season, and it was heavy snow. I don't know if you guys remember this. It was heavy snow for a Chiefs fantasy football playoff game. I think it was the semifinal week, and I started Tannehill because of the snow. Well, Mahomes wound up putting up like 25 fantasy points, but Tannehill put up 26. So it turned out I made the right call. I won that week, but I wasn't afraid to make that tough call, benching Mahomes because of the ill weather. Sometimes you got to make that tough call, and you just, you know what, you had the balls to do it. You live and die with it. That's it. Allen Robinson out for the Rams. Does that open up more opportunity for Kyren Williams? It should. It should. Man, the Rams. This is just an ugly situation, and it's just getting worse. Gibson, Montgomery, or Pirine. I'd have to say Pirine because he's getting the most touches. When you have these situations, you got to go with whoever has the most potential touches in a game, and that's going to be Pirine. I do like Gibson though. If it's in a PPR league. Breaking news: Trevor Siemian out. Yeah, Steve, we talked about that already. Nathan Peterman. So I'm now probably going to ignore that game. I might just watch when the Jets are on offense because I want to see if Elijah Moore has the game I think he's going to have. So, it's going to be ugly. Nathan Peterman shouldn't be in the NFL. It's as simple as that. Watson or DPJ. I'm going to go Watson because Allen Lazard is going to be matched up against Darius Slay. So Watson should have some opportunities. Start 2 in standard. Evans versus Browns in rain. Let me know what you guys see there. Debo versus Saints. He's playing. Palmer. I like Palmer. Definitely Palmer. The Cardinals defense sucks. Sitting Hollywood Brown. I would go Debo and Palmer. I do like Hollywood Brown. I think they're going to give him a full snap count, but you never know, rust and whatnot. So I think Debo and Palmer is the way to go. And listen, the Cardinals defense is brutal. They fall behind every game. There might be a lot of passing. Palmer is legit. So I would do Palmer. P. Ryan versus Titans, Pierce versus Dolphins. And stand, I'm worried about game script for Pierce. Yes, I am too. I would go P. Ryan for that reason. Kyler Murray, Chargers, or Jimmy G, Saints. Kyler Murray. I got to go Kyler Murray. And you're welcome, Erwin. I'm glad I was able to help you today. Aaron Jones, Michael Carter, or Rashad White, full PPR. Oh, man. All 3 of those guys could have a good day today. I'm going to have to go Rashad White again. The matchup is just too good. And if it doesn't work, then we're all going to sink together, I guess. It's Mike White versus Nathan Peterman. Yeah, I mean, that's as bad as it gets from a quarterback matchup. So we're just about 20 minutes away from game time. So I'll try to go up as close to the start of the game as I could. Yeah, battle of the century. Yeah, it's bad. Oh, my God, that's bad. Minding my own, you're welcome. Start Moreau or Juwan Johnson. Juwan Johnson. Andy Dalton likes Juwan Johnson. He's been throwing to him a lot, especially around the red zone. Who to start in flex? Pickens, Kyren, or Elijah Mitchell. Allen Robinson out for the Rams, and that opens more. Yeah, it does. But again, I still don't know what the deal is with how much, how many snaps he's going to get compared to Cam Akers. I guess I would go. Pickens, you know what though? Pickens has been decent. Flex PPR. Elijah's not going to catch the football, so I think I would go Pickens. Believe it or not. Okay, just was checking to make sure the alert just came through. Who to start? I read that. Thomas or McBride? Neither. I guess Thomas. Slight nod to Thomas. I mean, McBride might catch some passes. Yeah, I don't. I think Thomas. We haven't seen McBride do much. ETN or Wilson Jr. just for this week. I got to go ETN. I know Wilson Jr. has a really good matchup though. It's not horrible, but I'm going to go ETN just because he's been so good. Mark Andrews or Juwan Johnson. Mark Andrews. Oh, definitely. I know it's been a little bit of a slow go for him, but I think with Duvernay and Demarcus Robinson playing and whatnot, I think he'll be fine. I need a running back, wide receiver, two wide receivers, and a flex. I need a running back, two wide receiver, two, and a flex. PPR: Pittman, Olave, Michael Carter, Montgomery, Boyd, Evans with the rain in Cleveland. Yeah, it is raining in Cleveland for sure. I like Olave. I like Olave and Carter. With the rain in Cleveland with Evans, I'm not 100% sure about that one. So I would go, that's how I would go with that one. So, we'll see about that. So yeah, it should be an interesting day today. And like I said, injury wise, I'm going to do the instant injury updates like I always do. And then I'll be back on for a 7:30 stream tonight. Looking forward to some good football. It's a little easier to watch today because you had the 3 games already on Thanksgiving. So, I don't know if anybody has a Sunday ticket, but there'll be, I think, the seven games at 1:00, not 9, which is good. And then, the 4:00 games, I think there's 4, which makes it so much easier to watch. So it'll be interesting to see. So, all right. So I'm going to end it there, guys. I think we're going to go watch the games now. I'll, of course, look for the injury update videos. Glad you guys were able to jump on. I was able to help you. This was fun. So make sure 7:30, mark your calendars, look for the notification. John L., I would go Sanders in PPR. And then I will see all you guys a little bit later. So have a good day watching football, and we will talk soon.